Ferrari 250 GTO. The Ferrari 250 GTO is a GT car produced by Ferrari from 1962 to 1964 for homologation into the FIA's Group 3 Grand Touring car category. It was powered by Ferrari's Tipo 168-62 Colombo V12 engine. The 250 in its name denotes the displacement in cubic centimeters of each of its cylinders. GTO stands for Gran Turismo Omologato, Italian for Grand Touring Homologated. Just 36 of the 250 GTOs were manufactured between 1962 and 1964. This includes 33 cars with 1962-63 bodywork, Series I, and 3 with 1964, Series II, bodywork similar to the Ferrari 250 LM. 4 of the older 1962 to 1963, Series I, cars were updated in 1964 with Series II bodies. When new, the 250 GTO cost $18,000 in the United States, with buyers personally approved by Enzo Ferrari and his dealer for North America, Luigi Chinetti. Citation needed. This model has since become highly desired by automobile collectors and sales have repeatedly set price records. The current record for world's most expensive Ferrari was set in June 2018 when a 1963 250 GTO, chassis 4153 GT, was sold in a private sale for $70 million. In 2004, Sports Car International placed the 250 GTO 8th on a list of top sports cars of the 1960s, and nominated it the top sports car of all time. Similarly, Motor Trend Classic placed the 250 GTO first on a list of the greatest Ferraris of all time. Popular Mechanics named it the hottest car of all time. Design and development. The 250 GTO was designed to compete in Group 3 GT racing, where its rivals would include the Shelby Cobra, Jaguar E-Type and Aston Martin DP214. The development of the 250 GTO was headed by Chief Engineer Giotto Bizzarini. Although Bizzarini is usually credited as the designer of the 250 GTO, he and most other Ferrari engineers were fired in 1962 due to a dispute with Enzo Ferrari. Further development of the 250 GTO was overseen by new engineer Mauro Ferghieri, who worked with Scaglietti to continue development of the body. The design of the car was a collaborative effort and cannot be ascribed to a single person. The mechanical aspects of 250 GTO were relatively conservative at the time of its introduction, using engine and chassis components that were proven in earlier competition cars. The chassis of the car was based on that of the 250 GT SWB, with minor differences in frame structure and geometry to reduce weight, stiffen and lower the chassis. The car was built around a hand-welded oval tube frame, incorporating A-arm front suspension, rear live axle with Watts linkage, disc brakes, and Borani wire wheels. The engine was the race-proven Tipo 168-62 Comp. 3.0 liters, 2,953 cc, V12 is used in the 250 Testarossa Le Mans winner. An all-alloy design utilizing a dry sump and 638 DCN Weber carburetors, it produced approximately 300 PS, 296 bhp, 221 kilowatts, at 7,500 revolutions per minute and 294 Nm, 217 lb-ft, 30 kg/m, at 5,500 revolutions per minute of torque. The gearbox was a new 5-speed unit with Porsche-type synchromesh. Bizzarini focused his design effort on the car's aerodynamics in an attempt to improve top speed and stability. The body design was informed by wind tunnel testing at Pisa University as well as road and track testing with several prototypes. The resulting all-aluminium bodywork had a long, low nose, small radiator inlet, and distinctive air intakes on the nose with removable covers. Early testing resulted in the addition of a rear spoiler. The underside of the car was covered by a belly pan and had an additional spoiler underneath formed by the fuel tank cover. The aerodynamic design of the 250 GTO was a major technical innovation compared to previous Ferrari GT cars, and in line with contemporary developments by manufacturers such as Lotus. The bodies were constructed by Scaglietti, with the exception of early prototypes with bodies constructed in-house by Ferrari or by Pininfarina, in the case of SN 2643 GT. Cars were produced in many colors, with the most famous being the bright red Rosso China. Looking through open driver's window of a right-hand drive car, showing brown steering wheel with 3 metal spokes, gear lever and dashboard. Interior of 250 GTO, chassis 3647 GT. The minimalist interior of a 250 GTO reflects the car's racing intentions. There is no speedometer, seats are cloth upholstered, and neither carpeting nor a headliner was installed. Cockpit ventilation is via exterior air inlets. 5. The exposed metal gate defining the shift pattern became a Ferrari tradition maintained in production models until replaced by steering column-mounted paddle shifters in the 2000s. As the 250 GTO was heavily derived from the earlier 250 GT Berlinetta SWB, Ferrari engineers constructed two 250 GTO prototypes in 1961 by converting existing chassis of this type. The first prototype, designated in official photos as the 1961 Ferrari 250 GT Le Mans Berlinetta Sperimentale, was constructed from chassis 2643 GT, originally a 1961 250 GT SWB. It was built to competition specification, which included a reinforced chassis, a competition gearbox and a Tipo 16861 3.0 liters engine tuned to 300 bhp, equipped with dry sump lubrication and 6 Weber 38 DCN carburetors. Pininfarina constructed a new lightweight aluminum alloy body for this prototype, which resembled that of the 400 Super America Coupe. 2643 GT was entered by Scuderia Ferrari in the 1961 24 Hours of Le Mans, driven by Fernand Tavano and Giancarlo Baghetti. Although they were running as high as 8th overall, they were forced to retire at 4:45 a.m. on Sunday morning due to engine failure. During the course of the race, Ferrari engineers gathered information about the performance of the car, which was used to modify and improve it, including the addition of a rear spoiler. During the Le Mans race, 2643 GT suffered from high-speed instability, possibly due to the front-end design. Following Le Mans, 2643 GT returned to the factory, where it was used for more testing. The prototype raced again at the 1962 Daytona Continental 3 Hours, where it placed 4th overall and 1st in the GT class driven by Sterling Moss. Subsequently, it was sold to NART and a succession of private owners.